Welcome to On Roads Less Travelled. This video is jam-packed full of sights to see. We begin at Parachilna Gorge in the Flinders Ranges, South Australia, then travel on to Marree where we see some cheeky emus. We then travel along the Oonadatta Track looking at Aroona Dam on the way, then on to William Creek and out to Lake Eyre. Then heading south, we visit the Mounds Springs and Strangeways and Beresford Sidings along the Old Garn Railway, stopping over at the historic Farina Homestead. Next, we head down to Brachina Gorge in the Flinders Ranges, visiting a quirky sculpture park along the way. Then it's on to Ned's Corner for our last night, losing a wheel off the camper along the way. We are just entering Parachilna Gorge in the Flinders Ranges. Parachilna Gorge is a spectacular gorge known for its rugged beauty. It is situated about 8 kilometres east of the Parachilna township. Parachilna Gorge offers dramatic scenery of steep cliffs as you drive through the gorge. It was once a route for transporting copper from the Blinman mine to the Parachilna railhead. It was quite busy with campers, but we still managed to find a quiet spot to camp for the night. All along the gorge, there are magnificent old river red gums like this one. River red gums have an estimated lifespan of 500 to 1,000 years. That's the dawn sun hitting the gorge sides. It's like something out of a painting, isn't it? It's just stunning. There are no park fees, and you can choose your campsite from the many scenic dry creek beds along the gorge. There are no facilities available, however there are many four-wheel drive tracks and bushwalking tracks to explore an abundance of wildlife to see. We've just drove in towards Aroona Dam. It's a couple of kilometres south of Lee Creek, wasn't it? Yeah. We're just going in to have a look. Beautiful scenery. And there's the water of the dam. Strange out here in such a dry, arid area. This is Aroona Dam. Look at that, isn't it spectacular? It has toilets here. There's barbecue facilities as well. You're allowed to canoe and kayak, and any non-motorised boats are allowed. No camping here though. It's just for day visitors. You can fish for yellow perch and Marree cod, though the Marree cod have to be released. There's turtles and yellow-footed wallabies. We're here at Marree, and that's what you're seeing there. It's not a sight you see every day. 4 emus strolling down the road. Maybe they're going to the pub for a meal. Stopping the cars. Look at that, coolest cucumbers. Blowing an absolute gale here in Marree, and we're on the Oonadatta Track heading for William Creek and then out to Lake Eyre. There's this a couple of kilometres outside of Marree, $20 for 20 kilos of red gum, and you know where it is because it's right beside that. As you can see, there's no trees around to cut your own wood, and it's like this for hundreds of kilometres, so if you want to have a fire, it's a good buy. We've reached the southern end of Lake Eyre. Lake Eyre is Australia's largest salt lake. It is also the lowest point at 13 metres below sea level in Australia. We've now arrived at an area known as the Mounds, and here we are seeing the Blanche Cup. We didn't continue on to the bubbler as the winds were so strong I could barely stand upright. The Mounds are natural artesian springs created from water deep within the Great Artesian Basin, which filters up to the surface, forming mounds and bubbling ponds which form wetlands. Temperatures range from 30 to 212 degrees Fahrenheit, created by the geothermal forces of the Earth. We're now here at the William Creek Hotel. As you see, it has lots of character, as many outback pubs do. It originally opened as a boarding house back in 1887. The following year, William Creek opened as a stop along the old Garn train line. In 1890, a wine saloon opened, and through the early 1900s it was extended to include a post office, telegraph line, and then an airstrip was established.
We're at William Creek and the wind is like 50-60 kilometres an hour. We had the same wind yesterday. We were using about 28 litres per 100. Thankfully today, as we head south, it will be a tailwind, not a headwind. And there's a pub where we had a delicious meal last night, tender steak, scrumptious. And really there's not much more to William Creek. William Creek does have 24-hour petrol. We're heading out to Lake Eyre this morning. It's about 7:30 in the morning. And it's a bit of a rough road, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not too bad. What's the distance out to Lake Eyre?
64 k's.
64 k's from the turn-off. And the turn-off's only about 5 kilometres south of William Creek. That's something you've always got to keep an eye out for on outback roads, is stop on the road. Here we have part of Lake Eyre off to the right, heading for Halligan's Bay. We're just parking at Halligan's Bay and we're going to walk out onto the lake.
The flooding that has occurred here at Lake Eyre only happens every 160 years or so. Usually it is only a vast, dry salt pan. For us today, there are 50-kilometre-hour winds, speckled rain, certainly not what we envisaged, and it was bitterly cold. We had planned to stay a couple of days here exploring Lake Eyre. Because of the conditions, we've decided to cut short our visit and head south again.
Way to get logged, I reckon.
We've arrived at Strangeways Springs, which are another collection of thermal artesian upwellings. This area has many mapped walks you can do.
We're at Strangeways Springs Siding. It's raining here.
The springs are named after a popular parliamentarian of the time in 1858. The permanent water supply here was an important stepping stone for European settlement. In 1862, a pastoral land lease was taken up, followed by 3,000 ewes, 300 rams, 40 head of cattle and another 3,500 sheep shortly after. Drought caused half the sheep to die.
It was in operation from 1872 to the 1890s.
In 1870, Strangeways became one of the repeater stations for the overland telegraph system, which consisted of some 36,000 poles being erected.
A collection of old remnants of bottles. 1867, a lone window remaining. This is the old smithies. And in the distance there, you can see one of the old telegraph poles still standing. Beautiful stonework though, just bits of paddock rock that they've picked up.
In 1882, a great new railway was announced. It was to run between the now Farina and Marree. The Strangeways settlement was built in 1886 to house and feed the workers. Once a railway had been constructed to Oonadatta in 1891, most of the workers left and Strangeways was closed shortly after.
An old handmade gate and the all-important police station to keep order. All you farmers out there, this is a great idea for a fence you've got to cross regularly and to keep stock in, but you can get through easily. Great idea. As we're headed back on the Oonadatta Track towards Marree, we're stopping off at Beresford Siding to have a look and see what's there. Rare sound, hearing the pitter-patter on the roof.
Railway sidings were located along the old Garn Railway to supply water to steam locomotives. Beresford was also equipped with a large demineralisation tower known as water softeners, which allowed the bore water to be used. And we're back on the road again, heading south. We pulled into this quirky free sculpture park. Although the sign says Flinders Springs, upon further research I discovered this is actually the Mutonia Sculpture Park, created by Robin Mutoid Cook in 1997.
And of course there's a shut the rocks down sign.
Not much is known about the sculptor other than he was originally a mechanic from Victoria and co-founder of a performance group known as the Mutoid Waste Company. The park consists of about 20 quirky sculptures made from recycled items, welded and wired together creatively. Some carry an anti-uranium political message. Cook drew inspiration from the landscape and the Mad Max films. Some of the sculptures, such as Plain Hench and Big Dog, are quite well known. And we're back on the Oonadatta Track, heading south towards Marree.
Just going to fill up with fuel and then head on to Farina Homestead for the night.
Here we have a camel sculpture made from railway sleepers in honour of the camel trains which brought supplies and mail to outback towns before the Garn Railway was established.
We're just entering Farina Homestead to stay the night. Bit of old machinery. That was the Exchange Hotel back in the day. So it's an honesty system to pay your fees. There's also shearers' quarters accommodation, as you can see, and they have firewood available after 4 p.m. Greg's just positioning the vehicle so we're a bit tucked out of the wind and we've got some privacy. These are the amenities at Farina Station. It's $20 a night and they've got some bins for rubbish and stuff. Some of the sites have tables and a fire pit as well. There's a war memorial here at Farina Homestead. I'm just going to go up and have a look at it. There's a flagpole here. Maybe they do a dawn service in November. There's a campground on the top looking down. And here are some memorial plaques of people born at Farina. Isn't it lovely? Look at this stunning. See us down there, the red car. And here's the flagpole. Wow. This truly is a lovely little campground. You can always find a private spot. It's got hot showers, which is rare out here. So if there's no hot water, you just light up old donkey. Bit of a fire in there. And 20 to 30 minutes to allow it to boil, and then you've got a hot shower. It's very peaceful here. We've been here a couple of times and always the same, lovely and peaceful. Great place to camp. Mr. Crow's just been in for a feed. I reckon he's going to go and hide this bit. 2 big bits of meat in his mouth. And Jackie the Crow's back. I've put out some rolled oats for them because it's safe. It's not like seed that will self-sprout. Oats are harmless to the environment and healthy for the animals. He's enjoying that. Beautiful outback sky. Look at that. And look at the colour in those clouds. Just stunning. She's a bold little willy wagtail, that one.
The Farina ruins lie on the remote Gibber Plains 650 kilometres north of Adelaide. In the early 1880s, it was a railhead of the Central Australian Railway, linking pastoralists and miners to southern markets.
Beautiful old stonework. Little fire to keep them warm. That's the post office there. There's a little sign telling us where everything is. I'm sure many a beer's been had in there. Not much left of it today, just some half-broken walls and a beautiful old window. Lots of old buildings around. This is the old police station.
Farina Homestead was founded in 1870s near a reliable waterhole. In its heyday, 600 people lived here, including drovers, Afghan cameleers and Chinese miners. At its peak, it had 2 hotels, 2 breweries, 5 blacksmiths, a bakery, post office, church, brothel, general store and a school.
Probably a cellar. And this is the famous Farina underground bakery. It still works through the winter months, and they have volunteers that come here to help to restore the place during those months as well. Anyone can sign up. Just go onto their website, the back of the underground bakery. This is the old police station.
To Brachina Gorge in the Flinders Ranges. And here we are turning off towards Brachina Gorge. Brachina Gorge is a 20-kilometre drive through 130 million years of Earth's history. There is a well-marked, self-guided geological trail which explains the various geological earth formations on display, as well as evidence of meteorite strikes and fossilised stromatolites.
We've decided on camping here at Coolaman Campground at Brachina Gorge. How beautiful is that? And look at this beautiful rock face right next to where we camped. That's stunning. There's some toilets up there. They're just drop toilets, of course, but there's water as well. And then each campsite is numbered, and you need to, there we are down there at number 13, and you need to book them online, and all sites are allocated. That's why the numbers. There's no reception here. We have Starlink, so it's not an issue for us, but if you don't have Starlink, then you'll need to book before you get here.
Another crow is coming for some rolled oats. Love feeding the wildlife. Just a little treat to ease their daily struggle of trying to find food.
Beautiful morning here. Cold, it's like 6 degrees. The old fingertips are feeling it. Beautiful animal, aren't they? Look at that. Can you hear them? And we're on the road again, and I think we're heading to Ned's Corner.
We were driving down the road when this happened.
This line is from where we've lost our tyre off the camper on the passenger side. Seeing if I can find her and retrieve it. Still no sign of the tyre. You've got to love Australians. Look how many people have pulled over to help us. It's just the Aussie way, isn't it?
Although Greg had checked the wheel nuts recently, the rugged and rough road out to Lake Eyre and the corrugations along the Oonadatta Track had stripped the bolts.
Cleaning off the nuts, they've got bits of aluminium on them, so they're having to regrind them.
This caused the wheel nuts to work loose, allowing the wheel to come off and disappear into the scrub. The spare only had 3 nuts, so Greg divided them all between the 2 wheels to get us back on the road again. Thankfully, there was no lasting damage to the camper.
We've just pulled over just to double check and see Greg's there just checking the studs, make sure they haven't shifted at all. And we've got a visitor to the campsite, a little echidna. Well, it's our last night, heading home tomorrow. Last night on the Marree up at Ned's Corner. Thank you for watching on Roads Less Travelled. We'll see you in our next episode. Remember to like and subscribe.